Because time is short and we have a nice kind of intimate gathering of wonderful, beautiful faces, I actually wanted to kind of just feel you guys out. Not in the creepy sense, but in the kind of verbal sense, yeah? I want to get to know what you guys are thinking. Some of you guys have come, you're worried about family. Some of you guys are worried about health. Bear in mind, Allah tests us all in different ways. Some of you guys, mashallah, you have family members who have a disability and Allah tests you like that. Some of you guys, you have somebody that's suffering from cancer. They say statistically 1 in 2 people will be suffering from cancer. May Allah protect us. So that might be your test. Some of you might be married. Wallahu alam. I don't know what the age group is. There are some older people here. Some of you might be looking. Some of you have incurred heartbreak and you're still recovering from that. And what I would say is, for some of us, this is the only time we're going to meet. Inshallah, we'll meet again. But I want you to kind of just swallow whatever feeling that you have. Just be in the present and just dig real deep inside yourself. And if you genuinely want to ask something, you want the conversation to go in a certain direction, we can go in that direction. And I'd rather do that rather than talk about something that is obscure, that you're not thinking at the moment. Because if you're worried about something, I can talk about anything, but it's just not going to sink in because your mind is somewhere else. Because sometimes our pains and our troubles, they are like a dark cloud. They really suck the joys. You know, like the Dementors from Harry Potter, when they come and they just suck all the kind of color and the joy and the happiness out of the moment and yourself. So although there are questions, the brother can let us know, but I want to hear from your mouths any questions that you guys have, and then honestly we'll just take that. We'll just do a DIY freestyle. So I'll go from table to table and be honest. Wallahu alam, this might be the only time. And please, don't be embarrassed. I'm not going to be offended about anything, but just be something that's close to you. I don't care how dopey it is, how silly it is. Just don't ask me about rough endoplasmic reticulum. Don't ask me about the villi. Don't ask me about, the potassium and sodium going in and out of the axons. I don't know about that stuff. Maybe I do, who knows? So I'm going to start with that table over there.
Asking for a friend. If you have a girlfriend, but you intend on marrying her later on, or how would you go about it?
What age are you looking at?
I don't know, like 2-3 years.
No, how old is this friend? 2-3 years is incredibly young.
I mean, it's what, 20, 21.
Okay. There's one advice, because I was a primary school teacher for about 6 years, and even those kids from a small age, they're always talking. Firstly, thank you for the question, bro. I appreciate your honesty, and even though it is bants, those sorts of questions, I like it because they hit the nail on the mark. Yeah, we're living in a country, I'm going to be honest, I go to Pakistan, and when I'm there, the kind of heat inside of a man is not as much. I go Gambia, it's not as much. I come in the UK, for some reason, be it social media, the posters, as soon as you go out, you go to the gym, it's flipping everywhere, mate. Yeah, you just can't hide it. And that affects you. As a man that's topped up on testosterone, if you don't have testosterone, you're in the wrong place. Like there's an issue, physiologically. I'm speaking to medics here. Yeah, so testosterone is a good thing for us, but that naturally gives us desires. But I'm going to be honest with you. If you are going to a partner for a desire, that's the wrong reason. If you're doing it because, I just want to be with the person, I just want the opposite gender. My thing is this: how can you be in a relationship when you don't know yourself first? Many things, I'm kind of going into the counseling route and the psychology route. So many issues stem from either being abused as a child, this comes from parents, or number 2, heartbreak. I got mistreated, this boyfriend treated me like this, girlfriend treated me like this, I got dumped, this. I got dumped. Dump is something an elephant does after a big meal, but it's being linked to a relationship. You know what I'm saying? Dump. I've had enough. You know, we're cutting it off. Cutting off is something you do to a copper wire, to paper. But these sorts of terminologies are being used for relationships, because that's how people view this relationship. I just dumped him. I ended it. Ending is something you do to a movie, but here you're doing to a human being. You know what I'm saying? But marriage, a divorce. Divorce and marriage, that's actually got some credibility to it. But this relationship, I just meet with that person, hanging out with that person, because I have desires, I like that person, but you don't understand the ways and the functionings of life. How on earth are you going to understand the intricacies of a relationship? You need to understand yourself mentally. A lot of people don't understand how to deal with your own issues. If I ask you, how do you deal with anger? I just leave the room, I just drink some water. It's more complex than that. You know, how do you deal with problems? How do you deal with conflict resolution? How do you deal with rejection? How do you deal with, somebody coming at you, your friend, like taking your secret and bearing it in front of people? How do you deal with getting smacked up by your parents? All of these things are very important. Yeah, but no, I really like the way she looks. I really like him. He's funny. He makes me laugh. The hell is this? You want to be in a relationship because it makes you laugh? Or marry a clown then? You're marrying a human being then. You know what I'm saying? So the criteria of marriage, it's like we were speaking. I mean, let's be frank here. Anywhere you go, I'm sure there's going to be a question over here as well. What do you think about Andrew Tate, mate? What do you think about the Tate? What do you think about the Cobra? Yeah, but what's interesting is the answer that a person gives. Nothing in life is black and white. You can't say this person's good, this person's bad. So how do you develop that? You develop that from experience. You develop that from making mistakes. When you're young, you haven't made that many mistakes. You've been mollycoddled. Primary, mollycoddled by your teachers. Secondary, mollycoddled. When you are displaying a bit of personality, go to the head teacher's office, progress report. Yeah, college, serious now. It's A-levels. Got A-levels. Maybe I can, no, university, mate. It's very important university. Yeah, the university, no, now you got work experience. Like, when do you get to experience life? But I want a girlfriend though. So you're experiencing this relationship in a bubble. You don't know life. So when you are in that relationship, you don't understand about social media. She's getting DMs, she's getting this, and then you're dumped, mate. So a relationship that's predicated on something that's haram, on artificial, on desires, it's never built to last. It's always, like I went to Gambia, I saw these mud huts. They don't last. So something that's predicated on haram, wallahi, is going to give you a heartbreak, unless you are one of the few people that has survived that. And, if you are able to turn that into something halal, alhamdulillah. But relationships, I would say the first and most important relationship, of course, is with Allah. The second most relationship should be with yourself. Love thyself. Like, know about yourself. Treat yourself. Do you know about yourself? Do you know what makes you tick? If I ask you 3 things that you would improve and 3 positive things, you'd run out after 1 or 2. You have to know about yourself. Who are you? If I ask you, who are you? You'd tell me your name. My name's James, mate. I'm James. What's your name? Bilal. No, that's your name. That's something given to you by your parents. Who are you? Even now you're thinking, oh damn, like this guy's speaking facts. Who am I? Like, what are you? What's your identity? Are you a physical being having a spiritual experience, or are you a spiritual being having a physical experience? I say we're a spiritual being having a physical experience, because we were ruh, and in alim arwah, the realm of the souls, Allah asked us, and we responded to Allah as well. So we are spiritual beings. Once we neglect that spirituality, then everything falls apart. So understanding yourself, understanding what it means to be in a relationship, understanding what the opposite gender are, like females, like how are they, males, what males are. Nowadays, mate, we're living in a society, if I ask you what a woman is, I'm on speaker's corner. One guy's giving me all that about atheism. I go, mate, if I ask you, we got 3 cameras on now. I ask you on camera, what is a woman? Any answer you give me, you're fired tomorrow. You're fired. You are fired. There's no right answer to that. That's going to keep you in a job. You cannot answer that question. So now you're in a relationship. Who's the man in that relationship? What's a man? What's a woman? I don't know. So the main important thing is know thyself, know yourself, know who you are. Once you are in that relationship and you feel that you're mature, whatnot, and all of that sort of stuff, obviously the aim should be, if you're in a haram relationship, make it halal, obviously. Yeah, but don't make it halal for the sake of making it halal. You know what I'm saying? Don't tie the knot and then just divorce a year or 2 later. But again, get married for the right reasons or split up. You know what I'm saying? Like relationships, wallahi, relationships are no joke. You guys are young. I am telling you, the 2 most painful things you guys will experience are not a lower lumbar fracture or whatever long, complicated, there's one illness. I don't know. It's the longest word. My teacher challenged me to learn it. I think you guys would probably, I don't know if I think it's still the longest word in the English language. And it's you get this illness, miners get this when they're coal mining. It's a lung illness. Pneumolateral microscopic silicovolcanoconiosis. Yeah, so that's a lung problem or lung disease. So, I mean, subhanallah, it's very important to realize that, just regathering my thoughts. The 2 things that are going to be the most painful that you're going to go through is number 1, death of a loved one, and number 2, heartbreak. Heartbreak. Be it divorce, in your haram relationship, I'm telling you, these 2 things can change the course of your life. That's why it's very important that you guys, any trinkets you can get to strengthen your mental self, it's so important. You're not at a position to be dealing with anybody else. Especially in your time now. It's so difficult. Even to understand yourself is hard, but to handle somebody else's weight, boy, that's pressure. That's pressure. So I would say definitely focus on yourself, focus on what makes you tick. And that old adage that don't change success, become excellent. Yeah? Because once you embody excellence, then success chases you. You've seen this in movies, you've seen this in these fancy quotes. So really work on yourself, because then when you're in a discussion, you'll be able to see through her. Now she gives you a smile, she's wearing a hijab, and she looks good, or she's praying, she says, MashaAllah. She separates the 2, not MashaAllah. She says, MashaAllah. Oh, wow. She's very good, she's very pious. Your criteria of a partner is very low down. So unless you realize, and the only way you're going to realize is when you get the old few traumatic experiences, but again, it's make or break. The only way you're going to survive those traumatic experiences if your relationship with Allah is solid. The example is that of a ship. Yeah, you got a practicing person and a non-practicing person. They're both in a ship, and they both of their ships undergo waves. But the practicing person is able to maneuver around the waves and comes out of those waves kushti, relaxed, unharmed, unhinged. But the other person, subhanallah, gets smacked about. You got the rudder coming off, or one guy falling off board, madness going on, water leaking through hair, flipping, gets mashed up. Yeah, it's destroyed, finished, KO. So that's the thing. Like once you're practicing, and the only way you do that is by feeding your spirit. Yeah, because we're spiritual beings. Yeah, you got a plant, you're not feeding it water, you're feeding it bounty and chips and ketchup and all of that. It's not going to do anything. It needs water. You need Islam. You need Islam. That's what your soul needs. No, but I want to give it this, and I want to give it Netflix. Well, okay, you give it Netflix, no problem. But I want to give it traveling. I want to give it girls. I want to give it Bugatti. I want to give it crypto. All right, no problem, give it, but it's just not going to work. Yeah, if you're unfortunate that you've ever had to assemble an IKEA cupboard or something from IKEA, boy, that is punishing. It's ruthless, mate. No text, flipping everything in Swedish, and it's just pictures. Yeah, and if you get one thing wrong, you might go forward one step, two step. If that step was wrong, you can't move forward. You can shout at it, you can scream at it, you can tell it that it's wrong, you can tell it that no, Allah is all forgiving. It's not going to change it. But Allah is all forgiving, mate. I read my salah, did tahajjud. Mate, you have to undo that step and physically do the correct step. So it's the same with salah. You can feed your car diesel when it's a petrol car, it's not going to work, mate. Yeah, and if your car doesn't have petrol, I'll push it, mate. I'll karate chop it, I'll do this, I'll get 5 people to push it, no problem. I'll get bodybuilder. This is what people do, isn't it? So what if you're a good person, but you don't pray salah? But you're a good person though. You're a good person, you give money to charity, blood. All right, no problem. Yeah, but that's not the way things work. You push that car, it might go for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, might go down a hill, mashallah, but eventually it's going to come to a stop. It needs petrol. Your souls need spirituality. Yeah, and I would say, guys, just when you're walking home, speak and talk to Allah. Normalize this. Have a chat with Allah. I know a lot of kind of ways that Islam is presented makes it seem very black and white. That's not how Islam is. You can speak to Allah, you can have a chat with Allah. And normalize that. Du'as don't have to be formal. Yeah, you can just praise Allah, send salutations about the Prophet, and just have a chat. I'm finding it really difficult. Things are really getting on top of me. I don't know. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. Finding it tough. Finding it rough. Allah, you are the Rahman. You are the Rahim. You're the creator of all this. I don't understand. If you don't understand, if you don't know, you're feeling lonely, say that to Allah. The worst thing would be on the day of judgment when you've done madness and you say to Allah, I find it very difficult. Allah says, did you tell me? If you say no, if you say no, that's the bare minimum. You should be able to tell Allah, speak to Allah, leave it in His court. And there's a saying as well, say nice guys finish last. I'm telling you, that's absolute nonsense. That's absolute nonsense. Yes, there's different layers to this, but when I say nice guys, hey, I mean somebody who's practicing, who speaks the truth, who does what's right. Like that's so important. I'm telling you, at that moment, it seems like people are picking on you. You're the skinny one. You're the one that doesn't talk much. You're the one that doesn't have the clever comebacks. No problem. As long as you're not backbiting, as long as you're doing what's right, subhanallah, Allah will take وَهُوَ يَتَوَلَّى الصَّالِحِينَ. Allah is the guardian of the righteous. Allah is the guardian of the righteous. If you're righteous, the Quran says Allah will be your guardian. And Allah does not lie. Allah does not lie. Yeah, so it's very important, guys, for us to kind of know who we are in this day and age, in a society that's making you forget the very basics. The very basics. You got a beard, you're brown, your name's Muhammad, you're a terrorist. You're extremist. Go bomb up the local shop, mate. Ha ha ha. Mohammed the terrorist, mate. That's how they see it. Yeah? If you're a black person, you have to deal with your own stereotypes. If you're a Chinese person, you have to deal with your own stereotypes. Everyone has their own stereotypes to deal with. Yeah? Know thyself. Know thyself and be comfortable with who you are, where you're from. And please, at the very least, do not leave the rope of Allah. Don't leave the rope of Allah. Hope that answers the question. It's a very belated, but I just bounced off your question. But yeah, the short answer is yeah, of course, make it halal. But the long answer is focus on number one, mate. Focus on yourself. It's wallahi, it's so important. You'll get somebody when you're young, you're immature, you don't know yourself, and you know what's going to happen? What's going to happen is you're going to do her wrong and you're going to do yourself wrong. Best thing is leave it a while, know yourself, and find somebody who's worthy of you, and then that relationship will be better. Because when you're in a relationship and you get dumped, that's painful. That is painful. That table over there. Bro, how long do I have left? 10 minutes. This is merged into a Q&A, isn't it?
Yeah, no, that's fine.
Yeah.
That's perfect.
When's Ali Dawa dropping his magic?
When My question is, why is it important for him to drop the marriage documentary? What do you hope to attain from it? What sort of tips and tricks? Give me an example. Let's just say you watched the documentary now and you heard something in that documentary and you were like, wow, this was worth the wait. What do you imagine him telling you or teaching you?
A single guy wasn't really enough. So that's why it'd probably be more valuable from someone who's already married.
So as a single guy, you don't know what you want.
No, I don't know what. I mean, I think if I had all the advice, I would do it the best way to do it.
If you had all the advice, no, that's wrong. What you're doing is you're relying upon him and his experiences. You should have your own. Look, every soil requires its own set of nutrients. So for yourself, if I give you advice about piety and how to kind of attain piety and that's how that's important in marriage, you might have clocked more of that aspect than say most people. You might be looking for, how do I choose a partner? Or what are the red flags in a partner? Or why are people breaking up? So I would say, to answer your question, it's good his marriage documentary is delayed because you're not ready for it yet. Yeah, you're not ready for it yet. You're not ready for it. And I'm going to be honest, when I saw the first draft of his marriage documentary, I thought it was rubbish. I thought it was dead. And I cussed it so bad that he ended up actually investing. He got cameras, he got a crew. They actually made it much better. And it's actually, now looking at it, it's much better. That's why it's worth the wait. So when people say that, I'm like, boy, if you released it, you guys would have been proper disappointed. So the fact that now it's being delayed, I think is better. He's actually doing it properly now. So for yourself, more introspection, and then the marriage documentary will help you. Otherwise, it's not gonna benefit you. That table over there.
So I had a question. So I watch you every day in front of the screen, saying your opinions and talking to different people from the speaker's corner. So and you're an avid speaker from what I've seen right now. From one topic you bounce around for many topics. So one question I have for you is that when you're speaking to someone who's of an opposite opinion, you get to bring your own emotions into it. So has that ever happened to you? And what have you done to make sure you remain unbiased in the conversations?
That's a very good question. And I like your look as well. I've been watching, it's not an insult by the way, I've been watching a lot of Only Fools and Horses, and it reminds me of somebody from Only Fools and Horses. I like that show. It's a very good question. The thing with that, bro, is if you bring emotion into it, those discussions end up being very small, very restrictive, and it ends up becoming confrontational. No one gets anywhere. How I the benefit that I've kind of seen in my conversations is listening, hearing the other person out, and acknowledging where they're coming from, not dismissing it instantly. Like if somebody says and asks a really kind of awkward thing, rather than me mocking it and laughing and this and that, first thing is, don't make the person feel like that their question or their opinion is wrong, is awkward. It's, once you do that, the person is immediately on the defensive and you can't get through that. Now you have to spend 10, 15 minutes, trying to overcome the defenses. So hear the other person out, listen to them, be like, that's actually quite interesting. I can see where that point is coming from. And who would you have heard? Okay, I listened to this speaker, I listened to this. Okay, that's very interesting.
That makes for good content as well. The short videos much
No, the thing is, like, what I would do in that situation, I'd get the person to open up in the first 15, 20 minutes. When we then get into the juicy bit, then I'll take that clip and put it as a YouTube Shorts. So, I mean, you do both. So for the people saying, yeah, but long conversations won't do well, no problem. But you have to open that person up. Then you'll eventually get to the juicy stuff. But first, make the person feel that what they're saying, or as a human being, you value them. You value them, you're listening. Like so many people, like that, they'll thank me for listening to them. I'm like, swear that's normal. But it's not normal to listen to the other person. And the thing is, the only way you can refute and destroy the other person is by listening to them. So sometimes the person thanking me, like he's thanking me because I'm now going to violate him now. I'm going to absolutely destroy him from A to Z. But thank you for telling me and putting all your cards on the table. Because now you can't accuse me of interrupting you, for strawmanning you, for doing this, for doing that. Now it's just my time to talk. And then, obviously, when I say that, I'm just saying it in a tongue-in-cheek sort of way. But it's very important that you give people a chance, and then you go with their points. Like even with the brother, you notice I referred back to his point a couple of times. So he doesn't feel like, oh, he just dismissed what I said and went on to something else. So hopefully he feels that in some way his question was answered as well.
So if you have very much people who are very emotional about what they say, because it's religion and there's impossible circumstances where you not bring emotions into it. So I've seen you speaking to, I saw a specific video about an hijabi, speaking to hijabi about feminism and stuff like that, and I could see there's a lot of emotion come into it, and the way you handled it, you made it in 2 parts of the video, I think, and I just thought it was a very professional way of handling it, rather than having to bring your own emotions into it. That's something I want to comment on.
I'll thank Ali Dawa for that video when I see him, inshallah.
Yeah,
That was Ali, yeah. And he did handle it really well, mashallah. He did. And it's a compliment that you think I look like Ali. I think he's more handsome than me, is mashallah more. Yeah, but what I would say in those situations also is, we go in with this thing that guidance isn't in our hands. It's only frustrating to people when they feel, I have to convince this person. When you go with this notion that I have to convince this person, it's too much pressure. Because when the person denies and you got other people around you, it's too much pressure. You're forcing the other person now. When you say, guidance is in the hand of Allah, let me hear the person out and let me kind of, answer them. And if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Just yesterday, a brother told me, Speaker's Corner, when you were speaking to the Sikh brother, some conversations we have off camera. He said, you had this conversation with him off camera. I thought, looking at the conversation, he wasn't paying attention. But like a couple of months later, he accepted Islam, and he said that conversation really affected me. So alhamdulillah, that was really nice for me to hear. That was probably more nice to me than meeting Habib. Because 10 minutes later, I was meeting Habib Nurmagomedov. But that, for me, was more kind of, more useful and more kind of, I really appreciated that more. So, yeah, I think just understanding that it's not in your hands. Like you're not responsible for changing somebody. That's in the hands of Allah, and it's actually liberating. When you understand rizq is in the hands of Allah, you do what you can. You're not gonna overly stress about it. You're not gonna under stress either. It's a balance. It's the same in that situation as well. The table over there at the back.
We just wanted to ask what colour is your Bugatti?
My Bugatti has no color. Because my Bugatti is in Jannah. And wallahi, when you see that Bugatti, inshallah, if Allah accepts, wallahi, every other Bugatti will seem garbage in front of it.
But yeah, we actually wanted to know, how do you deal with procrastination?
How do I deal with procrastination? I think it helps. Like I've got certain kind of traumatic experiences when I was young. Like my father passed away when I was young. When I was 1, my mom came into this country, blah, 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 violence and all that sort of stuff. So I use that sort of stuff to push me and motivate me. My 6-7 hour shifts at TK Maxx, standing at the changing room and smiling at people when inside I was dying, because the guy just told me and I had to, because I was on a 0-hour contract. So it's stuff like that. I would say remember that stuff. There's actually an example of I think, like the scholars use this kind of analogy, this kind of situation of the story of, there was a sultan, a king of his time. His name was Sultan Mahmud Ghaznawi. Yeah, and he had a slave or a slave boy called Ayaz. And and Ayaz was somebody that he just picked up, and Ayaz worked his way up the ranks, and eventually he became in the inner circle of the king. And they always found any excuse to kind of put Ayaz down and find any disparaging thing, but Ayaz would always come with shining colors. But once they found an excuse, they saw that there was a key around the neck of Ayaz. They said they would notice that every night when everybody was asleep, Ayaz would go to a cupboard, he would open it, and he would do something, he would close the cupboard, and he would come and go to sleep. They were convinced that Ayaz was stealing. They were convinced. And then they all went to the king. There are other kind of little tidbits before that, but this is the one that's relevant to us. They went to the king, and then the king summoned everybody. And then the king summoned Ayaz as well. And he says, Ayaz, is this true? Do you have a key? He says, yes, I have a key. Is it true that you have a cupboard as well? Yeah, I have a cupboard. Is it true you open that cupboard and you know, every night? He said, yes. And he summoned the people, go and open the cupboard. And they went and they opened the cupboard. And when they opened the cupboard, they saw inside the cupboard was a tatty shirt and tatty shoes and nothing else. And then they asked him, like, what is this? What's the point of this? And then he goes, these were the clothings, or this was the clothing that I had worn when the king picked me up when I was nothing. I was a nobody. I was nothing. And now I've become big in the inner circle of the king. I don't want to forget my roots. So every day I go there and I remind myself what I used to be. So I kind of took something from there. I remember I had this lanyard from TK Maxx. Like those guys, there's nothing wrong with TK Maxx, by the way. But it's just, retail is retail, isn't it? Everybody has to go through it. Well, most people do. So for me, I kept the lanyard, and it's very, like, it's kind of withered away and it's got like stains on it and stuff like that. So I keep these certain mementos, and it's those mementos that kind of keep me going. Any day I will, something can a bank account can get frozen, videos can get demonetized, anything can happen. So, or one of you guys could become a better YouTuber than us, inshallah. We need people of action. So we don't know our shelf life. So as long as we have it, mashallah, we do whatever we can. And just understanding your roots. Just most of our parents come from abroad. We come from very difficult situations, countries in which the electricity is poor and stuff like that, and get called terrorists and all sorts of things. I think that should be a drive for us. Looking at the way our Muslim sisters get treated. Like just yesterday I saw this picture of a Palestinian boy who's been shot. He's on the street and he's bleeding, and a Zionist is walking past smiling and just taking a picture, and you got the policeman just next to him, cash, like it's normal. Seeing a picture like that, it's very difficult to get that out of your head. That motivates us. Seeing the fact that the cost of living crisis is disproportionately affecting Muslims and non-Muslims, the fact that many Muslims are feeling kind of affinity to take, because this is very important, to become financially independent, to become masculine. These sorts of traits are hella important, very, very important. That should motivate you. When somebody doesn't give you another look, when somebody just treats you like an average Joe that doesn't respect that, all of these things, I mean, how can you not be motivated nowadays? It's very difficult not to be motivated nowadays. Especially you guys, you're in the system. When you finish this education, you're going to have to then leave and then study again. Because many things, you don't know the fundings of these universities are coming from GCHQ, certain Zionist organizations, from the arms industry. You guys it's madness for you guys. I went through the university system as well. I mean, it's very one track. It's only when you then leave, that's when you actually end up reading. Because you want to read, not because you have to read, because then you're going to fail and you've been paying, God knows, I don't know how much you guys are paying. Was it 27k a year?
9k.
What?
9k.
9k a year. Is it? SubhanAllah. Is it 9k? I swear it was more than that.
It's international pay.
Internationals pay more. SubhanAllah. So yeah, I mean, even then, you're still going to be in debt. You know what I'm saying? So, you guys. How long do I have, bro?
Maybe last question. I think one more question.
Okay, 2 more questions. What made me start YouTube? When Ali radiallahu an became Khalifa, he ascended the pulpit I think one scholar said this and it really stuck with me. He ascended the pulpit and people were expecting this grand speech from him. And when he ascended the pulpit, he said, you are in need of a rajulun fa'al la qawal. You're in need of a man of action and not a man who speaks. And just when you're practicing and you're seeing people around you just falling into this sort of stuff, and you speak to them and you just feel like what you're saying is just not enough. You feel powerless. And that's how I felt. And then I felt that certain people are online, and nowadays, click of a button, bang, you reach 1,000 people. How can that not motivate you? I know social media has its drawbacks, and yes, it's mega fitna and it's very hard. It depends how you use it. It's like a knife. Use it to cut people, or use it to cut fruit, or cut the salad that's on your table. It's up to you how you use it. It's the same with social media as well. So it's really up to you, bro. Like, if that's okay, if you have a different vision, then that's fine. But for me, I wanted to reach as many people as I could, because I wasn't happy with the people that were there. At my time, there weren't people with big beards. There weren't people that were just using a cappella sound. Like, there was this a cappella YouTube channel called Smooth McGroove. He would do these voice-only covers of like Super Mario and Sonic the Hedgehog and stuff like that. So we'd take these little clips and we'd loop them and use voice-only tracks, and just to avoid music and stuff like that. So, I mean, that's what I wanted. I wanted people to use voice-only tracks, something that I could watch, and they're not using lewd language, not bringing up, these weird pictures on these thumbnails. Just keep it halal. So it was that. Rather than complaining, I'd sit. Alhamdulillah, I was fortunate enough to hang around a lot of scholars, and it would be just sitting, tea, biscuits. How do we bring the youth to the masjid? Yeah. And it would be a long discussion, and drink the tea and wipe the biscuits from the bed, and then nothing would come of it. And Imam would be announcing the youth conference in the Urdu language, and then there'd be questions like, why aren't the youth coming to the masjid? Like, what's going on? And that would be very frustrating. And it was that rather than being in a kind of circle where everybody's debating, everyone's questioning, which sect, and I'm not interested what sect you are. Just stick with the fara'id, just stick with salah, stick with the basics. Like, everybody agrees that you must pray 5 times a day. You must go to Hajj. You don't swear. You respect your parents. And it's the basics that people aren't doing. I don't understand. 80%, 85% of the religion has no difference of opinion. People always focus on the 15%. So my thing was just focus on that. People ask me, what are you doing? What's this? What's that? I'm like, bro, I don't talk about difference of opinion. It doesn't matter what I am, what I follow. Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah, I'm a Muslim. Alhamdulillah, that's it. Let's have some food. You know what I'm saying? So that's the mission statement of my channel. And so the faults that I saw people complaining, brother, we need brothers doing this, or we need people doing that. I'm telling you, bro, anytime I met somebody more funnier than me, more handsome than, actually not more handsome than me. That's a lie, I shouldn't lie, astaghfirullah. More accomplished, no, I can't say that either. But, in some fields, they were better than me. And I honestly believe that they were better suited. But they just kept giving me the same answer. Inshallah, brother. Inshallah. And inshallah is just a synonym, unfortunately, for some people, for no. But yeah, it's a polite way, but I'm not going to do it, mate. Somebody else should do it. So sometimes, bro, you just have to do it yourself. DIY. Do it yourself. Even Nike is giving you dawah. Just do it. You're waiting for it. Just do it. Adidas comes along. Nothing's impossible, mate. You can do it. So, yeah, inshallah. And there was one other question.
One more question.
Yeah.
Because you're all part of the university process and you've been through it yourself, I think it's a relevant question to ask. If you were to go back in time and give yourself some advice to your younger self starting university or going through the university years, what are the 3 top tips you give to your younger self?
I'd just say Assalamu alaikum to my younger self. How you doing? You're right, yeah? I'm off. And the reason why I say that is because I don't want to quote Steve Jobs, but I don't know, this quote is attributed to him. They say, any process that you do in life is like a dot. A dot is created. So what you're doing now, a dot's being created. Looking forward, you don't know wagwan. You don't know what's going on. Yeah, but after a long period of time, you look back and all those dots connect to create a picture, and you're like, damn. Steve Jobs goes, when I was at uni, I took this random course on calligraphy. Yeah, I didn't think how it was going to be of benefit to me whatsoever. Years down the line, I was into computers and all that sort of stuff, and then we had to create a font. People didn't know what to do. And we created the sans serif font because I used my knowledge of calligraphy. I didn't know that I would have to utilize my knowledge of calligraphy. So the point that I'm trying to say is just trust in the process. Trust that everything that you're going through has a benefit to it. Anything bad that you're going through has a benefit to it. It's building your character. It's helping you learn. Like there was this example of, I think they would grow trees inside this biosphere. Yeah, but they noticed that after a certain age, the trees would just drop. And then they were trying to figure out, like, why do these trees keep dropping? And then they realized that it was because they were not outside. And because trees are outside, the wind comes and slaps them about. That's what strengthens the roots of the tree. And that's why the tree is able to last longer. So you guys are now strengthening your roots. It's not about what you would do differently. It's live life. Yes, make shura with people. Have tawakkul. Yes, learn. Do your best. Whatever's your best at this moment in time, do it. Do your best. Allah will do the rest. Khalas. Doesn't matter what's happened or what you would change and this and that. Focus on alhamdulillah, you've done what you've done. And inshallah, Allah will do the rest. Wa akhiru da'wana and alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen.